Alright, what's up guys? I figured I'd do a shop tour of my new shop. Now it is a complete mess, but we're not gonna hide any of the messiness. It's all gonna be real. This is a real channel anyway. I'm gonna clean it up for you guys and pretend everything's clean all the time, but I do need to clean it. It's pretty bad. I just did a video. These are all my knives here. Obviously there's my drill, cheap Black & Decker because I am poor. Over here's the compressor I built with my grandfather, and it's a good little compressor. Does quite well with my pink hose, my manly pink hose, and it's a good little compressor. I built that thing from the ground up. I even did some welding on the bottom of it. First I ever welded was on the bottom of this tank here, which is not very good. Here's my anvil. Don't do too much blacksmithing yet. I haven't really used the anvil, but boy is that a good anvil. Have you ever seen a better anvil than that? Most guys I see on YouTube are using like a railroad tie, or their anvil's all beat up, but look how flat that is. That is a nice anvil. This is probably the nicest one I've ever seen. So hopefully in the future, if I ever blow up, maybe I can do some blacksmithing videos, or some exploratory blacksmithing videos. Here's some things for some bolts, which I haven't filled up yet. Here's an old drill press that I need to get going, but I was using it for the rivet. I used the drill press for the rivet thing, even though I have a mini version. I'll show you that in a minute. To set the rivets on the kydex, like that, or whatever you call those. What do you call those, rivets? No, there's another word for it. I'm saying it wrong, I'm sure. But yeah, that's what I use to press them as a press, even though it's not used for that. But we improvise. Here's the belt grinder. Here's the solid workbench with a vice clamp, or tinker's vice, or whatever you want to call it. I use it quite a bit because it's a good sturdy solid steel. Here is the grinder, or the disc belt sander. There we go. It works when it wants to. We'll see if it works right now. Oh, look at that. What a good girl. Yeah, it was giving me trouble the other day. It really works when it wants to, if you're lucky. I really need a new one. My grandfather, he doesn't believe in throwing anything away or buying anything new, so this one's a little beat. I think it's kind of outlived its days. Maybe not, but I can't find any belts this size. I'd have to order them online. I can't buy any at a local store because it's kind of a weird size. Definitely needs a new motor. Look at that. Safety 101. We work with what we got, guys. Look at that little liver switch. There's all the kydex from making that one sheath. It's pretty messy. That's why a lot of people don't realize, you know, how messy it is and all that, you know. So when I make them, you know, I kind of need money for making them, because it's not that it's not easy. It takes time. It takes a lot of time and a lot of mess. Look, I need to clean up all this stuff. These are all the offcuts. Here is the jigsaw, I believe it's called. Sawzall? Jigsaw. Table jigsaw? I could be wrong. But I use that to cut the kydex out. It's not very well. And you could do this by hand, I believe, which might actually be better. This thing is loud and annoying and doesn't work very well. I wish I had a bandsaw, which works a lot better, I'm sure. Over here we got the press. There's some clamps there. And these are some old forging tongs I got from my grandfather, which are pretty cool. I used them the other day while I was burning all that wood with the termites in the back. So there's some very old vintage forging tongs. I don't think there's any name on them, but pretty cool. There's a cool one over here I'm going to show you guys. Over here is some wrenches and whatnot, and I use this to heat up the kydex. Just an old crappy stove, got for like 10 bucks. And here's the press. It doesn't take a lot to to make a kydex sheath, guys. So if you're thinking you can do it, or thinking about getting into it, just do it. I spent like $150. I think it was worth it. I made like 4 sheaths. I mean, if you were to buy that from a guy, it costs you way more. So here's all the little bolts for the kydex, the rivets or whatever in there. And the kit I bought came with some belt loops and stuff. It came with a special drill bit, which I can't find. Here's one of them, but cannot find the other one. Here's the little press it came with. It doesn't work very well. It just looks cute. I put it there. Check this out. This is an old Craftsman set my grandfather gave me. He said it's still under warranty, right? Lifetime warranty. But isn't that pretty cool? That thing is vintage, and this is an old wrench I found out there. I've never seen one with 2 sides on it. It's too rusted to repair, but it looks cool. Wouldn't that be cool if it still worked? I think that's killer. I just keep it in there. And here's some cubbies for future tools. Oh yeah, here's the forging tongs. Another pair of forging tongs. Kind of neat. Look at that. It'd be cool, so cool to get a forge going. Someday, with enough views and enough all that. And there's a sharpening thing, just projects I've been doing. Over here's my toolbox. I restored all these, and they were rusted. My grandfather gave them to me. I took all the slides out, oiled them, lubed them, painted it. It was all rusted. The drawer's open now. And here you got all the screwdrivers. This is files, and flatheads or more screwdrivers. And I don't know what are they? Oh, flatheads. The other ones are Phillips or whatever. Different kinds. Then you got some clamps, not very many. Machinist block and knife in there I was working on. Some ratchets and some belts. I burnt out my my belt sander or whatever. What do you call these things? The little sander or whatever. I burnt that thing out working on some micarta for one of my knives. So I need to get a new one. I bought all these belts and now I don't even have a belt sander. How sad, right? And then the other one quits working from time to time, so there's all my pliers and just junk. I really need to sort all this. Be nice to label it too. It's kind of like electrical wire cutters and stuff. Here's some more clamps and Allen wrenches. And in here you got crescents and more miscellaneous. I use my old socks for little work towels and stuff, and they get holes in them. Some drill bits. There's some old drill bits back here that my grandfather gave me. I restored this here. This is an old drill there, hand drill. And I got most of this stuff brand new. Here's a fun, this is my favorite hammer. I almost burned down my whole grandfather's shop with this hammer. I put some boiled linseed on the handle here, and I left the rag on one of his benches, his wooden benches, and it smoldered and caught the whole bench on fire like 2 days later. And there was like a big old flame, and it hit some paint cans and blew up, and like he went outside and he was a firefighter that day. It was crazy. Yeah, almost burned down this whole shop with this hammer alone. So yeah, boil linseed oil. Do not just leave the rags around. Put them in a metal bin or light them on fire or burn them or get rid of them, because they can spontaneously combust. On the contrary, there's my respirator. There's a tomahawk here. My girlfriend got me. And here's the axe I made back here. Down here we got some grinders. I need some new grinders. Well, these are not cutting it. I didn't pay enough for them. That's the problem. But yeah, you got a few grinders, some discs there. And down here I got something really cool. These were really rusty. I found in a pile out of my grandfather's house, and I repaired them back to new. Look at that. That's so cool. That turned out so clean. I'm running out of time here though.